Well, greetings. This is Doc, and welcome once again to Doc Phineas TV here on YouTube. And thank you all for subscribing, and thank you for coming on the journey with us. And today, in conjunction with what we've been talking about, doing yoga and qigong, healthy diet, healthy living for seniors, really for everybody, Harry and I are out here trying to get our steps in. So we're in a step challenge, which is to try to get 10,000 steps a day. And that means just get out and walk it. And so one of the areas that we love to walk in is, out here in the Nevada wilderness. We're basically out here in the wetlands that probably a lot of people don't know about, that Las Vegas actually has these beautiful wetlands. If you can imagine, we have just these great natural lakes. Now, we were just here recently, and Harry, can you believe how much has grown up? Wow. I mean, there is so much water out here in the desert in kind of what is almost like an oasis, that the reeds just grow up literally overnight, and it's really, truly a wetlands. In this little natural pond, which is all spring fed, you're going to see koi fish and turtles and all kinds of interesting wildlife. We were here the other day, and there was a 4-foot blue heron actually sort of perched out here among the reeds and in the river. So I'm at about 5,400 steps for today. Harry, where are you at? Do you know how many you've done? So I imagine he's pretty close to me, because we pretty much walk all day long, and when I'm out shooting a show, I do pretty much all my own stunts. So it's a lot of running when you're making movies, and when you're doing TV things, and you are doing your own stunts, you really end up walking a lot. So this is a show all about walking today, and want to encourage everybody out there to get your steps in. Now, according to ARP, okay, they say that 10,000 steps a day is a great goal for a senior or for anybody else. For younger people, I'm sure they hit their 10,000, especially if they do phys ed or they get out and run a little bit. But to get your 10,000 in, you probably need to go for a walk. And that's what we do here. One of the beautiful things, I think, of living in Nevada and living in Las Vegas is the fact that they have all of these wonderful natural parks and natural places where a person can go and walk. And this particular park, I don't know, Harry, do you know how many acres are out here? I imagine that this park has probably close to 3,000 to 4,000 acres. And it's a park, like I said, filled with lots of springs, lots of vegetation. You're going to see here another waterway that we're crossing on a bridge. And once again, this is all spring fed. And wow, it looks like some really nice fish are down there. That goes to a
big turtle.
Do you see a turtle?
Big turtle? See it?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Wow, that's a really big one.
Hold his head up.
Yeah, there's a lot of wildlife here. That basically goes into a waterfall there, and then if you come over on this side of the bridge, you see this waterway going into another lake. And a lot of people are always telling me, oh, well, it's hard for me to live in the desert because I came from a part of the country that has a lot of lakes, a lot of waterways. Well, we have them actually here, almost like, almost like a desert oasis if you're in this part. And you can see the vistas are really beautiful. So when you get out in nature and you're walking, it's very inspiring if you have something nice to look at. And we're really lucky here to have this panorama of mountains. I had a person tell me they didn't know that Las Vegas had such beautiful mountains, and we literally have them 360 degrees around the strip. If you get off the strip, you realize, wow, this place has a lot of mountains. And now today what I'm trying to do is tell you that it's got these marshes, these wetlands. And when we walk out here now, I think today, do you know what the temperature is?
No, I didn't check today.
I think I saw it was like 106. And you would probably think, wow, 106 degrees, like how are these guys, doing it? But 106 here feels like, it feels like maybe 90 degrees, would you say? Like we have a really nice, steady, strong breeze, and the heat is very, very dry. There's almost no humidity. So when you have that kind of situation, it's just it's not really that hot. So I'm looking right now, since we started our walk, we are now at 470 steps. And that's just basically entering the park from our car. And we're almost up to 500 steps. So it's not that hard. If you stop walking in life and you just sort of sit in front of the TV set and you don't really get out there and get your exercise every day, that is what I found is when your health starts to collapse. So you really want every day to force yourself just to get out and go for a nice walk, even if it's a 30-minute walk. Now, wow, look at that dragonfly. Isn't that huge? It's like very beautiful color. So if, let's say like today, Harry and I are basically on a 3-mile walk, or 3.5 miles, this will probably give us close to 5,000 steps, I would say. And it could even be a longer walk. They say from the starting point to where we're going to where the river is basically about 5 miles round trip. We're going to cut it up a little bit shorter. But if you can, and you have the ability to get out and do a daily 3 to 5 mile walk, that is tremendous help to your digestion. It's tremendous help to your heart health. And it will really keep your legs going. I know a lot of seniors have told me one of their biggest complaints is that, when they get to be in their 60s, they suddenly get all this tingling and sort of weird sensations. I've experienced it in their legs, especially if they become too sedentary and they don't really get out and walk every day. So it's a good thing to get out, and especially if you have a place to walk where you really can see some beautiful nature. This particular walk, we probably see over 100 rabbits. There's just so much nature out here. The other day, we came face to face with like 3 coyotes. And they were basically in the fields, like working, getting the rabbits. So, there's definitely a natural thing going on here that is so remarkable. Now, this is probably going to blow your mind for those of you who think of Las Vegas as just being this sort of hot desert. You probably would not believe me if I told you what you're going to see now. You can see, like, this is literally a beautiful river with rapids rushing right through the desert. And I think you can see that there. I'll try to get over here where we can get a better perspective, but this river has had life on it for the last 10,000 years. So as an archaeologist, I actually started coming out here when I started teaching at UNLV, and because there were so many archaeological sites along this river. This is called the Las Vegas Wash. And so basically the Las Vegas Wash that you see flowing behind me had life on it for the last 10,000 years. And the people that lived here were called the Clovis people. So the Clovis people basically, they looked like the Anasazi. They were very similar to the Anasazi tribe, and evidences of the Anasazi tribe that we see here in desert areas. They did a lot of cave paintings, they did a lot of petroglyphs, and they built these huts made of reeds. Since reeds grow here so naturally, all along in this area, there's tons of rabbits here, there's bighorn sheep, there's just all kinds of birds, over 200 species of birds, so there was probably plenty of food for them. And we can see some evidences in pottery and in tools and all of that people lived along this wash that runs 12 miles and deposits into Lake Mead. And as I said, this was a site for the Clovis people for 10,000 BC, basically, is what we carbon dated, that they basically lived here and, hunted here and had a life here. This area here was a village, and we still find pottery shards here and kind of simple tools. There's some beautiful mountainous areas, and oddly enough, they actually dug some amazing little areas that look like that they were cultivating fish here, like a fish hatchery. So you can kind of see that this is a natural dugout area. It's now dry, but it's very marshy there. So the aquifer here is so shallow. If you dig down 8 feet, you'll hit water. You would never think of that as being a true thing in a place like Vegas, where, it's easily 110. Like last month, almost every day it was 116. Some days up to 120. It's Mojave Desert. But the water runoff from all of these mountains surrounding this valley created this huge aquifer. And there is actually quite a bit of water underneath the ground in Vegas. And that's the reason why you have an oasis here of so many trees, so many growing things. None of this gets watered, through watering machines. This is just the water in the ground keeping everything so green. So we think in these two dugout areas that we sort of have on each side of the road, they actually made their own little ponds and kind of treated them like a fish hatchery. Of course, we have a lot of catfish, but there's a number of other fish that do quite well here, perch and bass. And so I imagine that they were fishing along with probably rabbit stew, wouldn't you say, Harry? Rabbits and bighorn sheep. These are the animals that they have a tendency to paint in their petroglyphs on the wall. So, hey, thanks for coming on this nice walk with us today, and I hope that you're getting inspired to get out there and take our challenge that we're giving you to come up with your 10,000 steps. I know it sounds like a lot of steps, but for people perhaps like us who have, an upstairs, a downstairs, a house on several different levels, you probably up those stairs and down those stairs as much as we are. We were kind of shocked to find out that even without going on the walk, we were almost at 5,000 steps at the end of the day, and that's a wonderful thing. That will keep your heart ticking. It helps your digestion, and it's just great for your body. So today's class is all about stepping and hopefully finding a place that you can go for a walk that has the beauty of nature. And I don't know, Harry, do you have any words of inspiration? Nope. Just get out and go for a walk, right?
I'll go for a walk.
We're going to come in this area here for a second so you get another view of the river. You can see that as you walk along this pathway that you get a lot of river. And the water